Hey guys, Derek here, and today we're going to talk about working out while being pregnant. We just found out that we're having another little girl. It'll be our second child, and a lot of the questions I get, I am pre and postnatal certified, and I do get a lot of questions from mostly from my Facebook page on what's safe and effective training when you're pregnant. Can you train when you're pregnant? Is it safe? What kind of things can we do? So. I want to go through this with you and make sure that if you are pregnant or going to be pregnant in the near future, that you can be pretty safe in taking on a training regimen. And we're going to go through that and what that looks like. So for most healthy women, being pregnant isn't really a good excuse not to exercise, okay? In fact, getting 30 minutes a day of moderate physical activity during your pregnancy can help you feel and look your best. But there are some instances, and we'll go through that, when exercise should be avoided and approached with some caution, okay? Because there are some things that happen when you're pregnant with the body that makes training more difficult and sometimes unsafe. So let's go through this and we'll talk about what's safe, what's not, and some of the benefits and whatnot. Okay, here we go. Okay, so some of the health benefits of training while pregnant, okay? So it's going to improve your posture, your musculature and whatnot. It's going to decrease your fatigue, okay? A lot of times in your pregnancy, you're going to feel more fatigued. Your body's working a lot harder. As the baby grows, your stomach cavity, or where the baby is going to push up on the diaphragm, which in fact makes it a little harder to breathe, okay? There's going to be stuff like backaches, bloating, swelling, constipation, and with training, it lessens all of this, including stress, improves the mood, increases your stamina for labor and delivery. So I just wanted to talk to that piece really quick. So what happens with the fetus is when you're training, if you train while pregnant, it actually increases the fetus's or your baby's ability to handle stress. So if there is a lot of stress in your labor, if you have some challenges going on, or there is some stress for your baby or a stressful situation, your baby is going to be better prepared to handle those situations if you've exercised, because when your heart rate goes up, baby's heart rate goes up while you're training. So it's actually training, he or she is training while you are. So that's pretty cool. I learned that and I was pretty blown away by that. Okay, it decreases the likelihood of gestational diabetes, which is diabetes brought on by pregnancy, which is quite common. And I have a few friends that have had it. And if you get gestational diabetes, the chances of you getting diabetes after you've had your baby are higher. So you want to avoid that if you can. And you want to keep the ability to keep your muscles strong and toned and improve your sleep, okay? Because when you're pregnant, my wife right now, we sleep in separate beds. And she has some trouble sleeping, tossing and turning, trying to find a comfortable position, waking up, going pee 100 times a night. So we sleep in separate beds so that I don't disturb her. I wake up early, 5 a.m. to train clients, and she's not kicking me out of bed and whatnot, okay? So just a couple things to think about. There's all kinds of health benefits, okay? So don't be afraid to train. Next, let's talk about what's safe. So first of all, most low impact cardio exercise is going to be good for you, okay? It's keeping the muscles toned, you're getting some exercise, getting that heart rate up, and not gaining unnecessary weight. So walking, swimming, elliptical, bike, I'm going to say that the elliptical may not be the best piece, just because the angle of the pedals of a lot of elliptical machines do not fit the average female body. They're designed on an average person's build and height, and a lot of times with your hips changing and whatnot, ligaments loosening up, it may not be the best piece, okay? Always, 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 especially if you're new to fitness, if you haven't trained before you were pregnant, you definitely need to check with your doctor. But even if you are physically fit, you've always trained, you should probably just check to make sure. It's always safe to do that. But if you have trained before, there's really no reason, unless your doctor says so, that you shouldn't be able to continue at a fairly good pace. Obviously not 100% of what you normally do, but still fairly good, and not have to worry about anything. Make sure that you have a thorough warm-up and cool down. This is paramount, because what's happening is as your body changes and is getting ready for delivery, Your ligaments and tendons are all loosening up. Your hips are actually shifting in their position. And there's a much higher chance for you to injure yourself, okay? And another key here, avoid overexertion. So I use the talk test with all of my pregnant clients. If you can't talk, you're training too hard. So if you can talk, you're still doing good, okay? And stay well hydrated. It's really easy to get dehydrated on a normal day. And if you're pregnant, your body's working twice as hard, okay? So make sure you keep your hydration levels really high. Okay, I hope that makes sense. What's not safe? So do not hold your breath. Don't do stuff that's going to give you the risk of falling. High impact stuff, probably stay away from it, okay? Just because your joints are loose and whatnot getting ready for giving birth. Humid and hot environments, you do not want to overheat while being pregnant. That's not a good thing. If you've got health conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, asthma, stuff like that, pregnancy and exercise don't mix. Low placenta, bleeding or spotting, recurrent miscarriages, or history of early labor, and or a weak cervix. Okay, if any of those things are in your history or are going on with you right now, make sure you check with your doctor, and they're going to be able to give you specific exercise guidelines to match those conditions. Okay, so for example, with the weak cervix, you probably don't want to be doing anything that's making you jump up and down and bounce and whatnot, because it's really not going to be good for you. So your doctor will prescribe something that'll work for you, hopefully. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I've got the sniffles this morning, a little bit of a nasal infection. Boo! So I'm sniffling a bit. I apologize. All right, use caution. So use common sense. Your body is changing hugely. This is one of your biggest life events, and your body's adapting accordingly. And your body's going to need to take more energy and more oxygen demands because you have the baby. Like I talked about, muscles and ligaments loosen up. Okay. Also, your balance changes. Think about it. All of a sudden, you've got a bowling ball or a basketball in front of you weighing 10, 15 pounds. So think about how that changes your balance, your center of gravity and everything. So be aware of that. You're not going to be able to do everything that you used to do. Okay. And listen to your body carefully. So when I train clients, I always say, pregnant or not, listen to your body, because it's going to tell you when you're going too far and too hard. But this is especially important when you're pregnant. Don't be afraid to train, but you absolutely need to listen to the body. Now, at the bottom here, immediately stop exercise if you have chest pains, abdominal pain, if there's contractions that won't stop, if you feel dizzy, if you end up having some bleeding, experience a gush or trickle of fluid, sudden swelling, or a decrease in fetal movement. All these things you have to be cognizant of and watch for. And if you have any of them, stop immediately, talk to your doctor, make sure that everything's okay. And again, like I said, always, always, always talk to your doctor first. If you are already physically fit and have always trained, it really isn't a stretch to train while you're pregnant. If you have not, you need to start really slow, okay, and build yourself up. So you might start with just walking, and it might be 10, 15 minutes a few times a week. You can bump it up to 20 to 25. Then you can try some other stuff like an elliptic glider if you have to, stationary bikes, stuff like that. Just stuff that isn't high impact but gets that heart rate up and creates a stressful environment, but safe stressful environment for you and your fetus. That's going to prepare you for delivery. And it's a fantastic way to prepare your body and your baby for what's to come. And it's completely safe as long as you take the precautions and you're aware of what you're doing. I hope that makes sense. So, is it safe to work out when pregnant? You bet it is. But you really have to watch what you're doing. Make sure you check with your doctor and use safe exercises and whatnot. All right. I hope that all makes sense and answer some questions on training with pregnancy. And if you have any questions on it, you can always drop me an email at bouncelife@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer any questions. Or you can just comment on the video. This will be on the blog as well, nutritionrenegade.com. And we'll answer the questions as they come up. All right, guys, take care.